Mr. Well, got called a gentleman by the name of Jim Wessel, the designing engineer for the state. He's gonna meet with me Wednesday, and Carol, she wants to go along. And we're gonna go look at the two areas, and he says that there is a warrant for a stoplight at Bridgeville. That's what you said about the money that would take to do the shoulder work it's more than $800,000. And that's just coming up from the bridge. Then you gotta go to the other side, you're gonna get in infrastructure, move the hillsides, people's yards, retaining walls, and talking to another legislature, he said you have to talk $2.5 million job. And
And I
then
think
going
you
back.
put both of them up, you could actually slow down traffic some too, because if they weren't timed just right, with that short a distance between two stoplights, you could really slow the traffic down. Being able to go through there.
What I'm gonna visualize for myself, take it to the center area and see how far over we're gonna get in both sides, off the road. Even just put turn lane in, right away, you know, they've got so many feet of right away. And, you know, he could give us a little better idea from what we're talking about right away on both sides of the road there, both places. So I will have more information next meeting on that.
Is there a large public outcry for this? Why are we
Was
wasting
there a
our
lot of
time?
accidents out there now?
Why are we wasting
This is
our time?
not, this is a man from the state. No, that's his job, he's going out and
If I can address the council briefly, and I apologize for not being here last meeting. Well, I'm sorry, I apologize. But I read through the report, and one of the questions I have is, has IDOT accepted this traffic study yet? Do we know that?
they don't have any idea.
And I just noted in the conclusion, I think she had come to the conclusion that at this point, they're currently, the intersections at Chester Center and Chester Chrysler are currently operating at acceptable levels. And then I think she indicated she agreed with, I guess, Wessel, that maybe the Bridge Road intersection was warranted. But I just wondered if the state had accepted this yet. I'm worried about the council voting on something like this when you don't even know how much cost you're talking about. You don't know if IDOT accepted it, and I don't know if you've considered the impact on the local Chester Chrysler business out there as far as relocating that highway. Have you seen, have you read through and seen the diagrams, on relocating that road? Okay, so I think that's something we need to consider. The other cost regarding retaining walls, if there are any retaining walls that may be needed, I don't know. But I am worried about you guys voting on something tonight, yes or no or whatever, where I don't think you have all the information in front of you or all the options, as some of the people indicated, that you might need to consider or want to consider. And I know, Bill, you're talking about spending a lot of money and a lot of time, but I think you need to be apprised of all the information here. Like, for instance, where's the money going to come from if you were to say, okay, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this, and then who's going to even pay the cost to operate those lights and that. I think you've got a lot of consideration, or a lot of things to consider before you actually are ready to take action on this. And I know it was placed on the agenda, and like I said, I wasn't here, but in reading this traffic report, these questions came to mind, and I think that's something the council really needs to consider. So,
Well, that's the stoplights from what they talked about in the past meetings. City portion was gonna be used with TIF money.
now that's another question I have. I don't know that TIF money's available to use for a bridge road, that bridge road by this.
TIF district,
Yeah,
that's one in
yeah.
the center.
Right. And I think that would be a TIF eligible expense, but once again, you look at the appropriation, and look at the budget,
Well,
you need to consider where it's going to come from.
I don't want the money used for the stoplights. I'm wondering, in my mind, how wide the right of way is here. So if we're gonna get over into Tom's front porch there, and we're gonna go over to the center's parking lot, and then we go up to the bridge, are we gonna go up the bank? Okay, you got driveways coming down here, they're gonna come down, or we're gonna go way up here, repair that driveway. And you got infrastructure around there.
Well, like I said, I don't think you have enough information in front of you to take action.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Is there really a need to do anything out there? I mean, I'm kind of following up with what Bill was asking. I've never really heard anybody complain about the traffic flow out there, except when the prison gets out and it backs up coming up the hill, but I'm just wondering if there's really a need to do anything.
Not at that kind of money. No, that's,
Who did the stoplight study? Was it a company trying to sell you a stoplight, or?
No, it's casting engineer.
Because I've honestly never seen a problem out there with traffic. Maybe the bridge intersection, but definitely that marketplace. But then, like, if you do put a stoplight there, the only thing I could see benefit-wise would be for the property owner out there, because that's going to raise the value of that, you know, the storefronts right there, because you're going to be having traffic stopped, and it's going to give more visibility. So, you know, for that, I see a benefit, but for as far as traffic flow and stuff, I don't think that's, to me, it's not an issue out there, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it. And since it's been on the agenda, everybody I've had come into my office, they're like, what is a stoplight? What do we need a stoplight? You know, just people just talking to me. So the vibe I get, which is limited, but is it people really don't want it? I'm kind of proud we don't have stoplights. I guess I'm just
Are there resources? I know that the state comes out and puts traffic counters out, you know, they come out. Is there anything or any resources out there that you can go out and see if they can temporarily set a stoplight where you're thinking about what needs to be for a 90-day period or 120-day period to see if it's even feasible? I mean, is that out there?
He might be able to answer that better.
I don't know. Instead of spending $1 million on putting it in there permanent, you know, just a temporary thing, just to see what the traffic, you know, flow is and if it's even needed.
Yeah, they do traffic counting. I mean, it seems like on a yearly basis, and that coupled with the accident data is what you use to determine if a signal is warranted. From what I know, the traffic there is high enough to warrant a signal. I don't know about the accident data. That's the big one, safety money. If you can, from what I know, and I need to do some more checking, but you have 2 state highways intersecting there. And I'm discounting the lights at the store. 2 state highways intersecting, that would be state money or a combination of state and federal. Maybe the cost of the city would be to maintain the lights and the power bill for the lights. Now, why Kaskaskia Engineering, I don't know who hired Kaskaskia Engineering to do the study, if it was the city of Chester or IDOT. It's out of my district, I don't know.
Well, my question, I mean, and not just putting the counters in, it's just, are there, you know, you go through construction sites, there's a temporary stoplight there to control the traffic. Is there something we can bring a temporary stoplight in just to see if it's going to cause problems or if it's going to be a benefit to putting them? I mean, are there those resources out there?
Well, I mean, a traffic study would tell you that. I mean, right now, like he mentioned out of the report, the level of service of the store it operates fine. I mean, you do a traffic study and it'll tell you that at an intersection, if wait times can be greater or less with traffic signals versus a freeway stop sign or nothing.
All right, thank you.
Who hired Kaskaskia Engineering?
The city did.
the
The
council.
city did?
Yeah.
Why?
Not all the council.
Mayor, if I recall, we did hire Kaskaskia and paid quite a bit of money for this study. Don't they owe a presentation to the council and to the public so we can find out what the findings accurately were?
Yeah, we've got, I mean, everybody got copies of a traffic study, of the traffic study itself.
But they don't have plans to come and present something? I mean, I think that would clear it up somewhat with the community, the other people that are interested.
We can definitely check into it, see if they'll come and do the presentation. I guess we're one of the biggest contributors to the traffic in that particular area because it's between our 2 plants and we got the trucks running back and forth, plus the employees for the two plants. But as far as we're concerned, we believe that it's working pretty well the way it is. Now, you may want to add a caution sign or something like that, but I think traffic lights are overkill for a problem that's not that big at this time, especially the amount of money involved in buying the traffic lights. It's quite expensive, even the state pays still $400,000 or $500,000. And I think we got a lot of places you can put $400,000 or $500,000 to a lot better usage. For example, Alderman Blakely brought up about the curbs uptown lot. I happened to look at that, but I'm driving by and he was very right. Boy, it's just crumbling away. So I think paths like that would be a lot better, and it might take a little more safety issue out there more. But on the other hand, it's a safety issue on these curbs that are falling apart too, because somebody's trying to walk up them and fall down and hurt themselves. That's a safety issue certainly. So it looks like there's a lot of better places to spend city money than to put traffic lights up where we don't need them.
Just out of curiosity, Joe, do you know how much we pay Kaskaskia Engineering?
I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head, Bill.
I think it was around $5,900.
$6,000 to find this out.
Actually, I'll report from Mike and then we'll get somebody to come up here and give us a presentation.
Okay, next we have to discuss and or approve water main extension on Randolph Street. Russ, we'll go through that again.
Anyway, Bummer would want to put that water main in himself, 4-inch PVC main. So at least that one guy right away can get his, get some water where he lives. Right now, he's running need water at all. And it's his line, the main is an active service line up here. But he can put that in, that guy can get water, and then later on he can finish that project and go back up to the city steps and do the rest of that street. I make a motion to approve that.
I just got one. Does everybody else have one? That's just one person? This is like this house is getting.
Right now, I'm gonna sell for one guy right now, but later on, it's gonna be everybody down that street.
There you got what, 5?
Where's that?
We got 2 on this side. and then
The
this
Flint House
line.
Apartments is on it.
So I'm taking there'll be several down the road.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not
Well,
public water to this guy's house. It's
Donnie, that street, Harrison Street down there, there's like 3 or 4 different grades of water piping in there, and they're horrible, you know. And I changed a lot of copper in there, but it goes from one galvanized iron pipe to copper, back to galvanized iron pipe, and it's not the way to put a water line.
So our guys are gonna do it, save us. how
I'll
much?
second that motion.
Well, that,
Quite a bit.
I got a question though. That tapping sleeve and valve for $800, that's the tap also?
Upper's gonna do the tap himself.
4-inch tap?
Maybe I shouldn't say that, but.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. We have roll call, Alderman.
Alderman Abernathy?
Yes.
Alderman Rader?
Yes.
Alderman Buckley?
Yes.
Alderman Allison?
Yes.
Alderman Crossan?
Yes.
Alderman Dillman?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Alderman Bergen?
Yes.
You live.
Okay.